Okay, this is the most professional that I've ever gone for a video. I have a microphone now. I mean, come on. So a few days ago, 420 specifically, Apple held their first event of 2021, and wow, they are starting this year off with a bang. It was jam-packed with new announcements and a bunch of super cool transitions, and they just warmed my little editor heart. So I thought that I'd make a video recapping all the announcements that were made and give you some of the info that is in my brain and give them into your brain. I'm going to split this video into chapters so you can just skip to the announcement that is most important to you. I'm going to go in order of the announcements that were made during the keynote, so you might want to stick around for the bigger announcements. The first three are going to be really fast, so here we go. Apple first announced their new Apple Card family plan, where you can share your Apple Card with multiple people, and everyone can build their own credit scores instead of all the credit score going to one person, which I think is really cool. Then they went on to talk about podcasts, and they did a redesign of the whole app. Everything just looks kind of a lot nicer, and there's a new subscription service so you can support your favorite podcasts. Now, I had to look up what this meant for the actual podcasters, and it seems like podcasters will have to pay a fee of $19.99 every year to offer subscriptions, and they'll have to give 30% of the revenue for each subscriber for the subscriber's first years subscribing to that podcaster. After that, it's 15% of the revenue. Then they announced the new iPhone 12, which is now in purple, and it's still an iPhone 12, so I guess that's pretty cool. It looks really good, though. I have to say that. It looks really good. I'm tempted to buy it. Now, let's get into one of the biggest announcements, and that is AirTags. It's been rumored for so long, and it was just a matter of time until they finally announced it, and during this event, they finally did. The pricing goes $29 for one lonely AirTag, or $99 for a 4-pack. In Thailand, the pricing is 990 baht for one and 3,390 baht for 4. The price in baht does include tax, though. So Marques Brownlee made a really good observation. Instead of making it a 3-pack, they made it a 4-pack so that people would want to get the 4-pack because they're going to be saving money, when in reality, 3 seems to be a very good number of AirTags to have. AirTags are these tiny trackers that you can attach to any of your items that you might lose, like your backpack, wallet, or keys. And it can lead you directly to that lost item if you have a phone with the U1 chip, so that's an iPhone 11 or iPhone 12. If you don't have a U1 enabled chip, then you can still find it in the Find My app, and you can play a sound to help you locate it. A prominent competitor to AirTag is Tile. The AirTag is actually cheaper than the Tile Pro. What a concept. And Tile has a subscription service called Tile Premium, which is the cost of one AirTag per year. Another competitor of AirTag is Samsung's SmartTag Plus, which also costs $10 more than the AirTag. Something that the other competitors cannot compare to the AirTags, though, is the Find My network, which includes every iOS device. How it works is when an iOS device, like an iPhone, goes by an AirTag that you might have lost, the AirTag will sort of ping to that iPhone, which will send its location, and you'll be able to see your AirTag in the map. Tile has something similar to that, but it's only with people who use the Tile app. So obviously there's a larger group of people who use iPhones than people who use the Tile app. What about when you really lose an item? Well, you can tag it as being lost, and if someone finds it, they can use an NFC-enabled device to get a link from the AirTag, and they can find your phone number so that they can contact you about your lost item. Something that I didn't think of is, what if the AirTags are used maliciously in order to track you? Like, if someone were to take an AirTag and then slip it into your pocket and then use that AirTag to track your location. While Apple has thought of that, how it works is when an AirTag is seen to be traveling with you over a long period of time and the AirTag is not with its owner, it will alert you on your phone that this AirTag is following you. and you can click the link and they'll go through all the necessary steps of how to locate the AirTag and then disable it by taking out its battery or whatnot. So in the script, I actually wrote, there's not much to talk about the new Apple TV 4K, but there's actually quite a lot of stuff to talk about. So let's get into it. Here's how the pricing goes. It's $179 for the 32 gigabytes and then $199 for 64 gigabytes. In baht, that's 6,700 baht and 7,400 baht. It has an A12 Bionic chip now, which is kind of disappointing because a lot of people were expecting Apple to put in an A12X Bionic chip because the last one was an A10X. But we're stuck with the A12, and in some aspects, the A12 is actually slower than the last chip. So the A12 chip is the chip that came in the iPhone XS, XS Max, and XR, which means that this chip is 2 years old now. Apple still insists, though, that this chip allows the Apple TV to play HDR in higher frame rates, which is great news because the new iPhones shoot in HDR in high frame rates. So now you can fully take advantage of that and watch your iPhone videos in its full beauty. A cool new feature added to the Apple TV is you're now able to color balance the Apple TV using your phone by holding it up to the screen. It will use the light sensors that are in your phone to compare the color balance of the TV with the industry standard in order to get the most accurate colors from your TV. This is really cool, and it's something that just makes sense that you obviously can do that. Why couldn't you do it before? But we've never really seen anyone do something like this on their smartphone. It really just reminds me the power that Apple holds with its ecosystem of products. The Siri remote also got a new redesign because the last Siri remote was very finicky with its touchpad. It's got this new aluminum design, which feels like a callback to one of the older designs of the Siri remote, which is the one that I had when I was a kid. It's got a new click pad, which is touch enabled. The outer ring has a circular gesture for jaw controls, and the Siri button has been moved to the side, like on the iPhones. It all just seems like a pretty good time. Now, this is when I got really excited because they announced the new redesigned iMacs with M1. It comes in 7 colors, including blue, green, pink, yellow, orange, purple, and silver if you're boring. Something that I think is interesting is they didn't have a space gray color, which I think might be because space gray is kind of a pro color, and they'll want to save that for a higher end version of the iMac. Here's how the pricing goes. There's the base 7-core GPU, only 2 USB 4 Thunderbolt ports, no gigabit Ethernet at 256 gigabytes, and it only comes in 4 colors, and that's $12.99. The next option is $14.99 with the full 8-core GPU, 2 extra USB 3 ports, not Thunderbolt, and gigabit Ethernet, and it's at 256 gigabytes again. You can pay an extra $200 to get to the next option, which has all the benefits of the previous option, but with double the storage. These all only have 8 gigabytes of RAM, just like the MacBooks, and being able to upgrade it to 16 gigabytes of RAM is considered a customization, so you won't find any iMacs with 16 gigabytes of RAM on any store shelves. The prices in baht are 42,900, 49,900, and 56,900. It has a 4.5K Retina display with a 24-inch diagonal, 11.3 million pixels, a P3 wide color gamut, and 500 nits of brightness. It now has a 1080p camera, just like the last Intel 27-inch iMac, finally, and it also has M1's image signal processing, which makes the image look even better. It's considered the best camera ever in a Mac, also has the best sound system ever in a Mac, and the best mic system ever in a Mac. The system utilizes beamforming in order to focus on your voice only, which is going to be great for video calls, or conferences, or meetings, or whatever you're doing on your iMac. It has a new magnetic power connector, which leads to a power brick, which has its own Ethernet port, so your desk can be less cluttered. It now also has color-matched keyboards, mice, and trackpads, and the keyboard has a new emoji, spotlight detection, do not disturb, and lock keys. But if you want to pay a little bit more shmoney, you can finally get Touch ID on a desktop Mac for the very first time. We've been using this older design for almost a decade now, and it was definitely due for an upgrade. This new design is over 50% smaller than the previous design, and if you saw the X-ray shots of the Mac, you'll see that all of the computer parts are just stuffed into the chin of the iMac, and the rest of the space is just screen. So they sort of made the sacrifice of having his chin in order to make the computer even thinner. Whether it was worth it is debatable, but this machine came down to just 11.5 millimeters thick, which is just over a centimeter. So you can be the judge of it.
Look at the material.
You should be going home anyway.
You can be the judge of it.
This design is not without haters though. Personally, for me, when I first saw it, I thought that it was beautiful from the back, but when I saw that front, I just wasn't a fan of the pastel colors, especially the white bezels, which made the computer look dated. It was giving me 2004 iMac G5 vibes. Now thinking back on it, I feel like these emotions were probably instilled to me by being on the techie side of the internet for so long. It's like I've been conditioned to want small black bezels and no chin, but the market that Apple is aiming this product at is not the techie side of the internet. As opposed to the last iMacs, this new iteration is now more of a consumer level product, and most consumers don't care about having small black bezels because you know what? They're not crazy. We're the crazy ones. We're the ones who are so fixated on such trivial things about these new computers. Just because the white bezels don't disappear as easily as black bezels do, doesn't mean it's going to disrupt our workflow. Just like on the notch in the iPhone, you'll barely even notice it once you start using the product. And the computer will just work. And I think that's what most people are looking for. The pop of color brightens up any space that it's put in, it's speedy, and it just works. I still can't help but think that it looks kind of dated and it looks kind of less serious and not as professional as I would have hoped that it would be. It's kind of like that meme with the 3 serpents and 2 of them are looking really serious and one of them is just goofy. Okay, now to the last announcement made at this keynote. After the best reveal commercial ever featuring Tim Cook, we were introduced to the new iPad Pro, which is now supercharged by the M1 chip. We were expecting the iPad to be rocking something similar to the M1 chip, but we definitely weren't expecting them to straight up call it the M1 chip. Looking at it now, it was a pretty genius marketing decision. Like, check out this new iPad. It has a desktop chip in it. The pricing for the 11-inch is still the same $799, but the 12.9-inch had an increase, and it's now $1,099. That's 27,900 baht and 37,900 baht. Already, with the last 2020 iPad, which is the one that I had, it had the A12Z chip. The performance on the iPad was already 100% overkill. Even more so now, with the M1 chip, it's clear that Apple isn't stopping just because they're so far ahead of the rest of the competition in the tablet market. They're gonna keep making the iPad bigger and better. It's a good problem to have, having your iPad be so powerful that you feel like you're always letting it down by not doing 100% processor intensive work on it. It now has a 2TB configuration, but the 2TB is an extra $1,100 or 38,500 baht. And it has 2 times better storage. The USB port now supports Thunderbolt for super fast transfer speeds, and it can also connect to the Pro Display XDR at full 6K resolution. Oh my gosh, what the balls? I feel like someone who has the Pro Display XDR probably is way too pro to be caring about an iPad though. The True Depth camera is now ultra wide, and it has a new feature called Center Stage, where if you're on a FaceTime call, the camera will pan to follow you around as you move around in front of the camera, and it'll also zoom out if another person comes into the frame. This is still, I guess, considered a bit of a spec bump rather than a redesign, so no aspects of the design was changed. A lot of people wanted the camera to be on the right side of the screen, since most of the time when people use the iPad, it's in landscape mode. Even right now, as I'm using it as a script for my video, it's in landscape mode. So when you're on a call, it always looks like I'm not paying attention, but I am. I'm looking directly at the person talking, but the camera's just to my left and I just lose it. The 12.9-inch version of the iPad now has a new display called the Liquid Retina XDR display. these names, which is now a mini LED display. This new display has been rumored for a very long time. It was rumored that it was going to be in last year's iteration of the iPad, but they moved it to this year. At first, Apple wanted to make it an OLED display, but they were having complications with the size of the screen, having it 120 hertz, so they decided to go mini LED, which gave them all the advantages of OLED, with none of the disadvantages. It has 1000 nits of full screen brightness and 1600 nits of peak brightness, which is kind of bonkers. They also have a new Magic Keyboard with a white color, and we all know how I feel about white things. I mean, I'm sure it looks great to somebody, but just think about the stains. Someone's kid is going to get a marker or a Sharpie, and they're just going to go to town on that, and their parents will have wasted $300. So that was a recap of all the announcements made in the 420 keynote. Thank you for watching, and subscribe to see more videos like this. Also, tell me what you think about all these new announcements, especially tell me what you think about the iMacs new design. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.